What is the most disgusting thing you have seen? The autopsy of a singular rotting leg cut off below the knee. Had a guy come into the ER that ripped his ballsack open on a wheelchair. As a dude it made me cringe more than anything else I have ever seen. I ripped open my ballsack and dick when I was standing up pedaling on a borrowed bike with no hand grips. The chain broke and the handlebar jammed into my crotch. 32 stitches in my ballsack alone. The impact nearly took my dick off first, and as it cut downwards it tore my sack open wide. They did a good repair job. I've had 3 kids. Edit wow. Thanks for the awards and comments. Who would thought my most popular post was about my nutsack? But this is Reddit, so if anyone wants any more gory details, the worst part was the doctor had to put his hand inside the wound while I was awake to see if all the tubes and veins were still connected. I could feel his hand in my abdomen. So painful. The second worst bit was when they removed the stitches. Each one had grown in. That's why I know there were 32. I'll never forget. The best part? As a 12-year-old boy it was pretty awesome to have a cute nurse sponge wash my wang every day for a week. I was a high school janitor years back. While cleaning the boys' locker room I found a coconut in one of the toilets. But it wasn't really a coconut. It was a giant poop that could flush. Obviously I called all the other janitors over to see the monstrosity and help decide what to do with it. When Mr. Tidy Bowl himself walks over he takes one hand and scoops it up like he's picking up a softball, then just chucks it in my trash can and goes back to work like we just wasted his time. A couple years ago I was a supervisor at a beach. Every night before we closed we would go clean the bathhouses and take out garbages and stuff like that. This one night I was cleaning out the men's restroom and this old man came in and went into a stall to do his business. From the sound of it, he was exorcising some sort of demon. Anyway, he finishes up. No flush. Walks out of the stall. Makes eye contact with me and nods. Then walks up to a garbage can and pulls his pants down to the floor and his briefs down to his knees. He must not have pulled his pants down to do his business because it was all in there. He proceeded to scoop it out with his bare hand and dump it into the trash can. When he was seemingly satisfied he pulled his dirty underwear up and pulled his pants back up, whipped his hand on his back pocket and walked out without washing. I just kinda stood there, mortified. I left the bathroom and my shift mate said I looked like I saw a ghost, I was so white. My best friend's roommate used chewing tobacco. She liked Skoal. She used to spit into various capped bottles that she'd keep nearby and in arm's length and dispose of them when she was done. Her girlfriend was over one evening and we were in a heated discussion about something. I can't remember now. It's not at all pertinent to the story. Roommate left the room to relieve herself at a height of laughs and friendly arguing. Girlfriend reached for her soda and took a few gulps. It was not a soda. I still gag to this day thinking about it. I witnessed it. I can't even imagine what the girlfriend experienced. So I work as an embalming assistant while in embalming school. A few weeks into the job, the embalmer who was training me decided to not refrigerate a body we were taking to the crematory. She was notorious in the funeral home for lazy and sloppy work, as well as being spiteful toward any other workers in the building. Over a 4-day weekend. Unfortunately, the decedent was septic and morbidly obese, and a nursing home didn't clean them well, likely for months before their death. So grey and yellow-green fluid was leaking out from the patient's urinary catheter onto the floor into a 4-foot wide puddle, and the smell had seemed to create its own barrier in the vicinity of the body. The body had been bloated with the tongue and eyes protruding and purge coming out the nose, and blisters filled with blood had already formed all along the skin. Still, because of this embalmer's screw up, we had to move the body regardless of the amount of nasty we just walked into. We lift the gentleman off the table and transfer him to a cot. When it came time to roll the cot out to the transporting van, someone had to unlock the wheels to the cot to move the body. That someone ended up being me. While this embalmer waited, I should have figured out she was up to something. But I was oblivious and solely trying to just get the job done so I could scrub my soul. I was unlocking the last wheel when suddenly the embalmer starts shaking the cot violently, and grey and green sludge fell off the cot and directly down my forehead and face. seeping under my mask. The smell wasn't just a rot smell. It was the smell of pus and decay, and infected bowels and long-standing urine mixed into a lovely cocktail of loathing for the living world. It was enough to where the smell burned into the lizard part of my brain, randomly giving me phantom smells for the years to come. I remember this being the only time where I actually shut down emotionally, and I robotically walked to the sink and scrubbed my face, much to the laughter of the embalmer. She ended up getting fired for doing other similarly disgusting things, and I still haven't came across anything as bad as that for me. I'm probably going to hell for this. I was driving a friend of mine to an outpartying program we both attended. Everything was go fine and dandy until my friend screams at me to pull over, which I do, and then I smell it. Turns out she was abusing laxatives pretty badly, and she had basically had a poop attack in my car. I was not mad at first, until I dropped her back home and realized it was all over my seat. Also, my seats are fabric, not leather or something that I could have easily whipped off. This was like 3 years ago, and I still get the occasional whiff of it every now and then. I felt bad, but come on now. Once I saw a guy get stabbed in his neck and he came walking up to me for help, and as he was talking to me blood was literally squirting out of his neck. Also some body shit all over the floor and wall of the stalls, and sprayed blood all over the ceiling. I assume it was from a syringe. This all happened at the place I work at in a span of a couple weeks. I think it was like 2nd grade during lunch. The way the cafeteria was set up. It was also the school's auditorium. Down the middle between all the lunch tables, the trash cans were lined up. This kid apparently drank too much chocolate milk and ran to one of the trash cans and started to throw up. As he threw up, he proceeded to catch it with his hands and slap it back up. This caused most of the cafeteria to then start throwing up, and the cafeteria being thrown into chaos. Don't read before eating. Walked into the middle school bathroom stall. Someone took a shit. Not a normal shit, since there was blood in it, and it was all diarrhea. Oh yeah, it was also covering the inside of the bowl and the toilet seat as well, and there was some on the floor that I was fortunate enough to not step in. As far as I'm concerned, middle school janitors should have a government merit similar to the Medal of Honor. Edit. One of my new top comments on Reddit is me describing someone's bloody diarrhea now. Thanks guys. Please click subscribe if you enjoyed this video.